Manuscript found in Accra by Paulo Coelho, chapters 8 and 9. And a young man who would have lived that night said, I was never sure which direction to take. And he answered, like the sun, life spreads its light in all directions. When we were born, we want everything at once and we cannot control the energy we have been given. But if we want to make fire, we have to focus all the sun's rays in one spot. And the great secret that the divine energy revealed to the world was fire. Not just fire for burning, but the fire that transforms wheat into bread. And there comes a moment when we need to focus that inner fire so that our life will have some meaning. Then we ask the heavens, but what meaning? Some immediately brush this question aside. It's bothersome, it won't let you sleep, and there's no easy answer. They are the ones who, later on, will leave tomorrow as if it were yesterday. And when the unwanted visitor arrives, they will say, my life was too short, I squandered my blessing. Others embrace the question, but since they do know the answer, they start to read what was written by those who have already faced up to the challenge. And suddenly, they find an answer which they judge to be correct. When that happens, they become the slaves of that answer. They draw up laws intended to force others to accept what they believe to be the sole reason for existence. They build temples to justify it, and courts for those who reject what they consider to be the absolute truth. Finally, there are those who saw at once that the question was a trap. There is no answer. Instead of wasting time grappling with that trap, they decide to act. They go back to their childhood and look for what filled them with enthusiasm then, and disregard the advice of their elders. Devote their life to it. Because enthusiasm is the sacred fire, they slowly discover that their actions are linked to a mysterious impulse beyond human knowledge. And they bow their heads as a sign of respect for that mystery, and pray that they will not be diverted from the path they do not know, a path which they have chosen to travel because of the flame burning in their hearts. They use their intuition when they can resort to discipline, when intuition fails them. They seem quite mad, and sometimes they behave like mad people, but they are not mad. They have discovered true love and will. And those two things reveal the goal and the direction that they should follow. Their will is crystalline, their love is pure, and steps determined. In moments of doubts or sadness, they never forget, I am an instrument. Allow me to be an instrument capable of manifesting your will. They have chosen the road, and they may understand what their goal is only when they find themselves before the unwanted visitor. That is the beauty of a person who continues onward with enthusiasm and respect for the mystery of life as his only guide. His road is beautiful, and his burden light. The goal can be large or small. It can be far away or right next door. He goes in search of it with respect and honor. He knows what each step means and how much it costs in effort, training, and intuition. He focuses not just on goal to be reached, but on everything happening around him. He often has to stop because his strength fails him. At such moment, love appears and says, you think you're heading towards a specific point, but the whole justification for the goal's existence lies in your love for it. Rest a little, but as soon as you can, get up and carry on. Because ever since your goal found out that you were traveling toward it, it has been running to meet you. Those who ignore the question, those who answer it, and those who understand that the only way to confront it is to take action, will all meet the same obstacles and be made happy by the same things. But only the person who accepts God's plan with humility and courage knows that he is on the right road. End of chapter 8. Chapter 9. And a woman who was getting on in years and has never found a husband said, "Love has always passed me by." And he answered, "In order to hear love's words, you must allow love to approach. However, when it does draw near, we fear what it might say to us, because love is free and is not ruled by our will or by what we do." All lovers know this, but refuse to accept it. They think they can seduce love through submission, power, beauty, wealth, tears, and smiles. True love, however, is the love that seduces and will never allow itself to be seduced. Love transforms, love heals, but sometimes it lays deadly traps and ends up destroying the person who decided to surrender himself completely. How can the force that moves the world and keeps the stars in their places be at once so creative and so devastating? We are used to thinking that what we give is the same as what we receive, but people who love expecting to be loved in return are wasting their time. Love is an act of faith, not an exchange. Contradictions are what make love grow. Conflicts are what allow love to remain by our side. Life is too short for us to keep important words like "I love you" locked in our hearts. But do not always expect to hear the same words back. We love because we need to love. Otherwise, love loses all meaning and sun ceases to shine. A rose dreams of enjoying the company of bees, but none appears. The sun asks, "Aren't you tired of waiting?" "Yes," answers the rose, "but if I close my petals I will wither and die." And yet, even when love does not appear, we remain open to its presence. Sometimes, when loneliness seems about to crush everything, the only way to resist is to keep on loving. Our great goal in life is to love. The rest is silence. We need to love, even when it leads us to the land where the lakes are made of tears, that secret, mysterious place, the land of tears. Tears speak for themselves, and when we feel that we have cried all we needed to cry, they still continue to flow. And just when we believe that our life is destined to be a long walk through the valley of sorrows, the tears suddenly vanish. Because we managed to keep our heart open despite the pain, because we realized that the person who left us did not take the sun with them or leave darkness in their place. They simply left, and with every farewell comes a hidden hope. It is better to have loved and lost than never have loved at all. Our one true choice is to plunge into the mystery of that uncontrollable force. We could say, "I've suffered greatly before, and I know that this won't last either," and thus drive love from our door. But if we did that, we would become dead to life. Because nature is a manifestation of the love of God. Regardless of what we do, nature continues to love us. Let us therefore respect and understand what nature teaches us. We love because love sets us free, and we say things that we once never even had the courage to whisper to ourselves. We make a decision that we kept putting off. We learn to say no without thinking of what words is somehow cursed. We learn to say yes without fearing the consequences. We forget everything. We were taught about love because each encounter is different and brings its own agonies and ecstasies. We sing more loudly when the person who love is far away and whisper poems when he is near, even if he doesn't listen or pays attention to either songs or whispers. We won't close our eyes to the universe and then complain, "It's dark." We keep our eyes wide open, knowing that the light would lead us to understand the thing, knowing that the light would lead us to do undreamed of things. That is all part of love. Our heart is open to love and we surrender to it without fear because we have nothing more to lose. Then when we go home, we discover that someone was there waiting for us, looking for the same thing and experiencing the same anxieties and longings. Because love is like the water that is transformed into a cloud. It's lifted up into the heavens where it can see everything from a distance, aware that one day it will have to return to earth. Because love is like the cloud that is transformed into rain. It is drawn down to the earth where it waters the field. Love is only a word until we decide to let it possess us with all its force. Love is only a word until someone arrives to give it meaning. Don't give up. Remember, it's always the last key on the key ring that opens the door. End of chapter 9.